Can I get a plus? Can I get an ultra? Can I get a full on plus ultra? Welcome back to Manga Monday Book Club. If you don't know what Manga Monday Book Club is, I will leave more information for you down below in the description, along with the upcoming manga that we are reading. Today we're going to be discussing My Hero Academia Volume 3. In this series, we follow these students who have abilities who are attending hero school, and we basically see their day-to-day lives as they're trying to come into their own and dealing with all the chaos that comes with being a hero. Our next Manga Monday Book Club pick is going to be The Promised Neverland Volume 1, and we will be meeting on February 24th to discuss this volume in full. Oh, ouch. Gave myself a paper cut almost, or rather, manga cut. Am I bleeding? All the discussion posts for this volume are already up over on our Goodreads page, so I will leave that link down below as well. But today we're going to be discussing all things My Hero Academia Volume 3. Before I dive full on into the spoiler section, I'm going to be giving some non-spoilery thoughts. This volume kicks off one of my all-time favorite story arcs within the My Hero Academia series, and that is the sports festival. It's just such a great way to see all the different abilities from the different students, and also just a great way to see how they handle themselves when different obstacles pop up along the way. It's basically the Heroes World version of the Olympics. It's full of obstacles, rivalries, and chaos. This one brings up topics of things like, what does it mean to be evil? What does it mean to be good? Though I do wish it would have just went a little bit further in getting us thinking about those topics and kind of delved deeper into it and kind of broke down things. This is only volume 3 though, so I'm sure we're going to kind of delve deeper into that topic as the series progresses. We've got a long way to go, my dudes. I'm sure we're going to be discussing a lot more topics in the coming volumes. Not only do we see the characters facing physical obstacles before them, but we also see them facing mental obstacles. I really enjoyed seeing those characters face those obstacles head on throughout this volume. Those are all my non-spoilery thoughts. I am now going to be jumping into a full-on spoilery section, so if you have not read My Hero Academia Volume 3, first of all, what are you doing? How could you not have read this volume yet? I'm just kidding, it's fine if you haven't read it yet, but you've still got time to get caught up with us. If you haven't read this volume, then go read it, then come back and discuss with us in the comments. Now let's get started. We're still at the USJ with all the chaos. All Might has finally arrived. Nice of you to join us, buddy. I never thought that I would ever say that I felt bad for Aizawa, but seeing how broken down he was when All Might finally gets to the scene, my heart, it hurted. I think I kind of misjudged Aizawa from the beginning anyway, because even though there were times when he was a bit of a dick and he gave off major Snape vibes, he's not as awful as Snape was to his students. And also, he was doing everything he possibly could to protect them at the USJ. It's really worrisome watching All Might battle in this because we know that he's already technically reached his limit for the day, but he can't not chip in and help. I mean, imagine All Might showing up and not doing anything. You can't imagine it because it never happened. Plus, the villains came for him in the first place, so technically he's the reason for all this chaos. I was really glad that Deku followed his instincts and went and helped All Might, because even if All Might preferred that Deku just kind of chillaxed on the sidelines, truth be told, he needed help in this situation. And while most people would just be like, oh, it's All Might, he doesn't need any help, he's 100% that hero. But Deku thankfully recognizes the fact that he's barely hanging on. Of course, though, his rival can't let him have his hero moment. Nope. Mr. Bakugo gotta show up and put his 2 cents in this battle too. Less so 2 cents and more so vengeance. The more help the better though, and that's what ends up happening here. Students piling in to help All Might instead of just relying on him, as it should be. You gotta put that quirk to work. I feel like Nomu is one of the more terrifying villains. The fact that he can pretty much withstand anything. How does one even begin to take down a villain like that? It was interesting hearing Shigaraki bring up heroes and villains both thrive on violence, but we're still categorized as heroes being good and villains being evil. I don't really feel like it delved deep into the topic of what is deemed good and what is deemed evil, but I could see it diving deep into that topic down the line. I mean, we're only 3 volumes in, so we've got to give it some time. The thing is though, we still don't have much information on the villains. We've only really touched the surface when it comes to their characters. We've only seen bits and bobs of their lives so far. All we know is that their drive right now is to take down All Might. They want to take the might out of All Might. Anyway, he goes on to say, symbol of peace, in the end you're just a tool of violence made to keep us down. And violence only breeds more violence. I'll show the world that by killing you. In the end, he feels like they're both doing the same thing. They're both pursuing violent acts, but one is being praised and one is being persecuted. Though I do think that that's a very narrow way to look at it, because the villains are obviously doing violent acts with evil at the front of their minds, while heroes are doing violent acts to save people. It's all about context here. All Might basically tells the students to sit back and watch a pro. It's time for a lesson, my students. I'm gonna show you how to kick some major booty. He goes up against Nomu and literally plus ultras his butt through the roof of the USJ. We love to see it. Yeah, we do. Yeah, boy. King All Might taking the boot to the villain booty. And we really see how powerful All Might is in this moment, because I was kind of thinking like, dang, Nomu is unstoppable, but then All Might was like, yo, you haven't seen my power to its full potential just yet. I'm gonna have y'all sit down and I'll show you how it's done. He was able to smash his way through the absorption explosion, causing the regeneration not being able to keep up with All Might's rushed movements, and bada bing bada boom, just like that, through the roof! We love a calculated takedown. That scene where All Might is standing in front of the villains just waiting for their next move, and he really can't do anything else but stand there and just hope that they'll go away, because he's reached the point where he can't maintain his All Might image and he's about to revert back to his true form. Oh, hot diggity dang, it was so intense. My heart was racing a little bit thinking that his bluffing was gonna come tumbling down at any point. Let's not pull a Jack and Jill, All Might. He could have potentially been a goner had Deku not hopped in front of Purple Mist Boy. But have no fear, the pro heroes are here. That bullet hit in the hand right in the nick of time, iconic, successful. The power! Also, that visual made my hand hurt a little bit. I loved when Ida guided in the pros looking like the passionate Class 1A president that he is, living his best life, giving off major leader vibes. The first game over announcement was just a pre-game game over. We're left with a threat from the villains, and that's when Shigaraki returns. He's gonna kill All Might. Sure, Jan. Midoriya full on crying when All Might's like, bruh, you saved me once again. There needs to be a mop on hand at all times so Midoriya can wipe up his flood of tears. This is a big side note, but I love the fact that we get to see Deku crying a lot, because I feel like in the world that we live in, there's so much pressure on guys to have this like tough image and not break down and cry, which crying in our world is kind of seen as a sign of weakness, and like that's so stupid. It ain't weak to have liquid fall out of your eyeballs. But anyway, I feel like it's nice to see him crying because I feel like it's kind of normalizing that idea that guys can cry too. It's okay if we cry. It's a normal emotional reaction. Who would have thought? We end this chapter with some very direct foreshadowing. This attack would be the start of a greater incident to come, but of course we had no way of knowing that. Oh, snappity snap. The pros showed up, but they didn't really get the chance to show off in front of the villains, which kind of made me sad because I wanted to see more of them in action and I wanted to see more of their abilities and whatnot, but I'm sure that will come down the line. Cemento really came through with that cement, helping All Might hide his true form. We love a solid friendship. Get it? Because cement is solid. I can't with the extraness of Mr. Fancy Aoyama. He's like trying his best to get people to ask him where he was during the battle, like, ooh, don't you want to know where I was? And no one's paying attention to him, and then when he finally gets somebody to ask him where he was, he's like, it's a secret. Something tells me that he'd excel in a drama class because he's serving some drama. Dang, it was so sad learning how Aizawa had been so severely damaged and that he could potentially have long-term loss of vision. I was glad to see that the authorities had found Nomu and arrested him. I was surprised that he was willing to go with the police officers and that he didn't really put up a fight, but something about that to me seems off. Like maybe he was looking for a way out of the League of Villains and he saw his opportunity and went with it. Would a strong villain like that go so freely? I don't know. I'm feeling kind of iffy about that. We see All Might and Deku in the hospital with Recovery Girl, and All Might reveals that in battle he thinks that he's shortened his time limit again, and that he'll be lucky if he's even able to get an hour in. This is not good. I'm seeing major red flags. Like, what's gonna happen the next time that he pushes too hard? And I get it, he knows his limits, but in the moment he just can't stop himself because that's what he's destined to do. He's destined to help people. He can't not help. He like literally can't resist the urge to go beyond. But what I'm wondering is, will All Might be his own downfall? What do you guys think? I think it showed a lot about All Might's character when Tsukachi, I think I'm saying that correctly. If I'm not, feel free to roast me in the comments. When Tsukachi came asking about everything that went down, and he says something along the lines of like, if you three heroes weren't there, then the students wouldn't have made it out alive. But All Might was quick to say that the students had put their lives on the lines just as much as the pro heroes did. I appreciate how humble All Might is and how he's willing to recognize when a job wasn't only executed by him and how he had help. He gives credit where credit's due. I feel like so far we've only seen the good sides of All Might. I mean, I know that we also have seen his true form when he's not able to maintain the All Might form, but I'm kind of wondering what his faults are outside of that. Is his fault that he's just too perfect to a fault? I'm wondering if that's something that's going to be explored down the line at all. The students are back at school after the USJ madness. I love this funny moment with Ida. Everyone, morning homeroom is about to begin. To your seats. We're sitting. You're the only one up. Oh, Ida, you just can't help yourself, can you? Of course, Aizawa comes back to class just completely unfazed, as if they hadn't just faced off villains, and he wasn't just in critical condition. He's like, who needs a time of reflection? Let's keep going. And going they do, because the next obstacle before them is the sports festival. The pro heroes discussion on Shigaraki just has me even more curious about him, and I want his backstory now, pronto, give it to me, because he really is just such a mystery. And I'm also just really curious to see what his appeal is and why all these villains are following along with his lead, unless he has like some kind of mind control ability, but like he would have used that in the battle if that's the case. They keep pushing this man-child narrative too, and that makes me wonder how old he is. And also he's unregistered, so we just really know nothing about him at all. Where's Scooby-Doo and his gang at a time like this? this. It's wild that in this world, the UA Sports Festival is like their world's version of the Olympics. I mean, they have the Olympics, but it's more popular than the Olympics. I mean, I'd personally probably be more interested in tuning into heroes going against obstacles than just ordinary everyday sports, so I feel that. So the UA Sports Festival is an opportunity for students to be scouted to potentially become something like sidekicks, and also just the opportunity to show their appeal to the general public. I will say that it almost feels like a bad idea for this to be such a publicized event, because it's more than likely that there are villains that are going to be studying these up-and-coming heroes, and I feel like it could give them a heads up on going up against them in the future. And I don't know, it just doesn't sound like that great of an idea. I loved getting a little bit more insight on Uraraka's background, and how her motives in becoming a hero are to make her mom and dad's lives easier. So pure ultra. It just makes me want to learn more about other students and their motives in becoming a hero, because everybody obviously has different reasons as to why they want to be a hero. I didn't even think about the fact that going into the sports festival that Deku still hasn't really mastered his quirk. It's gonna be interesting seeing how he approaches the festival. There's nothing like inheriting powers from one of your all-time favorite heroes and having them put the expectations on you to become the next All Might and to have to reveal to the world that you have arrived. No big D, except a really big deal. It felt really out of left field for Todoroki to approach Deku and just be like, yo, I'm better than you just so you know, and I'm gonna beat you. I don't know if it was like a tactic for him to get into Deku's head before the festival begins, but it was a little bizarre. It was a very, I'm not here to make friends, I'm here to win kind of confession. I will say though, it was nice seeing Deku be like, good for you, everyone's aiming for the top, including me. The first event that we have is an obstacle course race. Todoroki comes right out the bat with his freezing ability. He said, y'all want a snow day? I'll give you one better, an ice storm. The perv who must not be named, thinking he can take out half and half with some grapes. He really thought he was doing something, huh? But then some villain bots bopped him back to reality with a big old booyah. The first barrier is the Robo Inferno. Todoroki really showed up to make an impression, huh? He wasn't joking when he confronted Deku, that's for sure. That freezing robots so they fall over move was a smart one. I just loved seeing how everybody used their abilities in the face of a challenge. Everyone just had such a different approach, obviously because they all have different quirks, but that's besides the point. This is a great opportunity to finally see students who have been benched the first 2 volumes in full-on action, and seeing what their abilities are and how they work. We get to see one of my favorite students, if not my favorite student of all time, and that is Tokoyami. Pah! This dude, he's the best and underrated, but we stand in this household. Yes, we do. I really hope that we get to see more of him in the future. I like that we've already seen growth in the students, at least in class 1A. We see Aizawa and All Might discuss this, how the students have already kind of been put through situations that have kind of forced them to evolve, and how in this challenge they're really quick on their feet and they're not hesitating at all. Even though class B is still holding their own, there still is that difference between the two. It was so interesting seeing Deku work because he's avoiding using his ability because he knows that he can max it out really quick. So he's trying to use things within the obstacle along the way, and it's just very innovative. The next barrier was the fall. It's like this obstacle was made for Suyu to exceed with because she had no problem getting through it. We learn here that Todoroki is the son of the number 2 hero. I bet that feels somewhat annoying to be labeled as the number 2 hero. Going to events and being like, please welcome the number 2 hero. Not quite number 1, but number 2. The final obstacle is the minefield. Bakugo's got a new enemy in town. He's icy hot, half and half, and goes by the name Todoroki. Though to be fair, anybody who aims for that top hero slot is automatically Bakugo's enemy. So does that mean that pretty much everyone is his enemy? Methinks that's accurate. And in a turn of events, our class observationist and certified underdog Deku blasts his way to the front of the pack, hitting that jackpot with first place, making Todoroki and Bakugo not too happy. The shot of his mom at home watching the TV crying, my heart, my feels, I stand the mom with all I've got. I love her, I need more of her. The next event is the cavalry battle, but of course we've got to wait to the next volume to see it all, because that's just how it goes. The horse and rider formation just does not sound that comfortable for battle. I feel for all the students who end up having to be the horsies. The riders, on the other hand, they've got it made. So Deku getting first place in the first round means that he gets a headband with 10 million points on it. Students are going to be coming at him right out the gate. Good luck, Deku, you're going to need it. That is it for volume 3. Now I want to hear from you guys down below in the comments. It's time for you to tell me all your thoughts on this volume. How did you feel about it? What was your favorite part? Is there any new character that kind of stands out to you? Let me know all your thoughts down below in the comments. I'll be in the comments all day responding to you guys, so be sure to leave your comments so we can talk about My Hero Academia. Again, Again, for next Monday, we are reading The Promised Neverland Volume 1, and discussion posts for this are already up on the Goodreads, so be sure to go and pick this up, read it, and join us next week. If you like this video, be sure to go and hit that like button. If you want to see more bookish content from me, be sure to go and hit subscribe or go and hit that bell icon, and you'll be notified every time I post new videos. As always, thank you guys so much for watching. I hope your day is bright, that tomorrow is brighter. Keep reading what your heart desires, and I will see you soon with a new video. Bye.